Hello and welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. It is week 3 of the PEC Spring, and we're starting off the week with Rocket League. Tonight's matchup, Boise State University will take on the undefeated Baylor University. For the casting desk, my name is Bryce Jensen. I'll be your host for tonight, joined by my co-host, Danner Hill. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a game to remember, the number 1 versus the number 2 seed. Now, in the last week, Boise State is coming off a fairly rough loss against Michigan State, a 3-2 loss. It was a very, very close game. But now, is it time for the Broncos to sink or swim?
It is time for them to swim. They got to find that door. They got to fit on it, and they just got to keep going. This is not a time for them to stop by any means. I mean, you come off of that loss, but that's even more room for you to improve coming into this week. Now, facing the number 1 team, Baylor, the only other team that you've taken a loss from. Now, it's time to flip the script, per se. Let's make it close. Let's make it good, and let's make this crowd remember this night.
Yeah, but before we hop into the game, we would like to let you know that we have our own social media page. Not enough Rocket League in your life? Turn that around by scanning the code on screen and follow us on Instagram and X for all the Rocket League you can handle. And also, we would like to give a special thanks to our home game sponsor, Paddles Up Poke, the official poke of the Broncos. They're fueling our teams to victory. Check out their Idaho and Utah locations today. I'll tell you what, they're pretty good.
Yeah?
I'll go on record. I haven't had a lot of poke in my life, but if you're going to have some poke, that's a good spot to go through. But we do have a short recap of the last game against Michigan State.
And it was a close one at that, going all the way to Game 5. And to make it even more interesting, it was back and forth. Michigan got Game 1 and 3. Boise State got Game 2 and 4. Every single one with a 2-1 scoreline, whether that be in regulation or overtime. Now looking at Game 5, it was a close one all the way through. You can look at this shot all the way down from downtown from Woozy, 1-1. That game ultimately going to a 4-2 record for Michigan State, getting the win and securing themselves the series. But as we look at the records now, it's pretty self-explanatory. Baylor, number 1, 10-0, hasn't dropped a single series this entire season, and right behind them, Boise State, you're looking at them 9-2. But Syracuse and Michigan State, though, I think that's the biggest one. Now tied at third place because of that win.
Yeah, them both being tied, that really solidifies those top 4. The bottom 5 have not really changed over the past few weeks. I will say Nebraska took a pretty surprising win over Kansas in the last week, which was pretty impressive in my personal opinion. But we do see that top 4, and they haven't really shifted. But really, all of these teams are competitors just in this league in general. And overall, every single one of them is just really fun to watch.
Yeah, everyone is fun to watch, and everyone is fun to see how they're improving each week. As we look at this week's schedule, you will have Michigan State versus Ohio State tonight, along with Nebraska and Minnesota, and Kansas versus Utah. Syracuse having the bye. But we got to talk about tonight's featured home game, Baylor University versus Boise State University. This is the one we are all here for.
Yeah, and here along with us on the side of Boise State, we have Cade Hall, Emiliano Flores, Preston Ferrante, Gabriel Reynolds, and Coach Wayton.
That is Boise State for you, the tried and true team that has led the Broncos to all the wins that they have accumulated. And on the other side of the field, we do have Baylor University. We have Hoxer, we have Zanil, and we have Andy. That is a stacked roster all around. It is 3 professional players that have competed in the RLCS for several years now, and all of them have a fairly substantial, a career to them, to say the least.
Yeah, and do you know how they got that career? By following Doc's keys to the game. In Rocket League, skins equal wins. Respect the rule 1. Get the ball in a goal. Doesn't matter which, preferably the one that isn't the same color as your car. And use boost wisely. All of this, of course, brought to you by Blue Ribbon Painting. Blue Ribbon Painting, with over 90 years of combined experience, they are proud to be Boise's go-to team of local multi-generational painters who know exactly how to level up your home. Visit blueribbonpainting.net for more information.
And as we get closer and closer to this game, I'm getting pretty excited myself. I've been hyped about this all day because I knew this was going to be a matchup to remember. I mean, last time these two teams faced, it was a 3-0 in the favor of Baylor, but that doesn't mean it was a blowout by any means. This score differential at the end of the series was 8-5, only 3 goals separating those two teams all the way. And I mean, game 1, there was only 1 goal scored in the favor of Baylor. Game 2, it was a 3-4 effort. Once again, 1 goal difference, and in the last one, once again, it was 3-2. Everything being as close as possible, and I bet you with that amount of gap of difference, there had to have been an overtime in there that I just can't remember. But regardless, this is definitely the number one and number 2 teams for a reason.
Yeah, and that's why when they come together, they clash head to head. There's sure to be sparks flying. We've seen it over and over again. Boise State has been able to take on teams that are incredibly skilled and come out on top. And I remember you and I were talking a little bit before the stream started, and Baylor, Michigan State, and Boise State are all competing in RLCS CRL. CRL. I apologize. That's why I run this by you. But CRL, both of these 3 teams are have a lot of history in CRL. They do a lot of stuff with the college league. So, really, how does that make them stack up? What are we expecting out of this matchup?
I think this is definitely these are definitely 2 of your top 16 in the nation, I would presume. I mean, I haven't looked at a lot of these collegiate teams that are going to be competing in CRL really recently, but I know for a fact these 2 have made runs in CRL, either in the top 16 or top 8. Boise State making it to several CRL World Championship appearances along with top 8 finishes, and I mean, very dominant league play performances. Just a couple years back, I was able to come cast their 15-0 game against Kansas, where they took that game in fashion, and I got a little bit of cake at the end of the night.
That's always the best way to end off a night, especially one on a win. A little bit of cake, and let's hope we can get a victory cake tonight as well, as we head in to game number 1, the Baylor Bears versus the Boise State Broncos.
And as we're getting into this, I do want to highlight 2 players, one on each side, Preston and Andy. Preston went 80% in goal participation the last time these 2 met, and Andy was at 88, scoring 7 of the 8 goals. Participating in 7 of the 8 goals. He scored 4 and had assists on 3 of them. He is definitely one of the playmakers to watch out for on the side of Baylor University, but I think for Boise, it is definitely something that they can manage.
Oh, 100%. And we do see it from Boise all the time, the ability to work together as a kickoff. What a way to start it off!
Yes!
Durtho gets one in immediately. What a kickoff goal!
That's what we want to see. Just a dead ball between Preston and Zanil. Durtho cleaning up the pieces. He's easy to get the first one for Boise State. Just 2 seconds into the match. This is what we want to be here for.
That is one way to start things off. And if all things go according to the last time these guys played, that might just be all they need. Preston taking the ball up. Zanil is going to push it back towards the center as Hoxer is going to be the one to grab it again. Woozy punishing in that corner. No one's going to be able to get a hold of the ball as it passes right in front of the goal, but no one's there as Preston shoots it away.
Andy now collecting into the corner. Preston already there to 50, maybe even getting his second one off the sidewall. Not quite. Durtho able to bump one out of the way. Andy just trying to get one downfield, get Baylor onto the offensive, but Preston is there to collect onto the backboard, and he's going to 50 it with Zanil in the midfield and waiting for a way to send it downfield. Hoxer with a great save.
This time they actually had a person behind to be able to grab one of those balls that's just running towards them. Andy unfortunately gets demoed, but it might just be Boise State's golden opportunity, but right back to save it. Unfortunately for the Broncos, as Durtho's going to take it up to Preston off the walls. Neal not quite in the spot to stop it, as Durtho with a shot is going to get pushed back by Andy. Nothing really going to fall out of that one. Woozy taking it back up to the corner, flips it over 2 of the defenders. Hoxer's the only one to defend, and he does.
I think this is kind of an interesting first minute. I think both of these teams are still feeling out each other. I'm not seeing anything too crazy out of the first minute of gameplay. I think they're playing it smart, they're playing it safe, but for Boise State, now they got to play defense here as Hoxer gets a close one, maybe even a double tap attempt there. No, Zanil now having to try to get that one in favor of his teammate Hoxer. Preston able to get around one. Zanil has to dive on in before Durtho races to this one and sends it to the backboard.
Yeah, it's going to be off the backboard, and no one is quite there to get it. Woozy's just a little bit behind, but Preston's
but
going to
big
shoot it
opportunity!
over! Oh, just a little bit too far to the right. Woozy's still fighting for the ball. It's going to be pushed out of his hands, and Durtho is going to get bumped in the air. Not quite what you want to see, but Preston, he's right up where he needs to be, right over to Woozy, but Zanil is going to take it away. It's right in the midfield. Durtho once again fighting for the ball in the corner.
Fighting for the ball in the corner, but leaves it for Preston, where 50 with Zanil in the midfield is going to occur. Grabbing a fresh mid boost. It's going to take it around to the backboard. Woozy has to get a good clear, and he does. Andy is now racing to get to this one. And as we cut back into the game, we see that that one gets saved by Andy. Durtho trying to play the initial 50. Preston has to play the time as Hoxer reaches for this one first. Woozy able to save it out.
That is exactly what you want to see, just bumping the ball away in any way possible as Preston's going to take it up along the right side. Zanil is going to hit it, but not quite the direction he wants. Andy with the shot, but Zanil is right there. Another one goal, tying things up.
Not a shot, but an amazing pass. Durtho falling to the close post, having to race back, not able to read that one. Zanil, great positioning from him, able to tie the series, or no, the game up 1-1 here, a minute and a half into the game. Andy has to play around Woozy. It's going to be around and in.
Yeah, it's like you were talking about. They're sort of feeling each other up in the beginning. That one goal off the kickoff was pretty lucky from the Broncos, and now they've just been able to put one in. They were able to grab it up to Andy. Boise State still have 2 minutes 30. They got quite a bit of time to really get something moving. Really, anything can happen at this point.
There's no luck in Rocket League. It's all calculated. Right now, Zanil, quick flipper set up into the air. Durtho able to get an initial save, bumps it away. Preston just has to reach for this one. Woozy trying to get away from Andy, who could have been attempting for a demo. Zanil is going to capitalize off of the demo there, and Baylor is going to take a 2-goal lead.
Now we're starting to get into kind of dangerous territory for the Broncos. You got 2 minutes left. Realistically, that's plenty of time.
A minute per goal to tie the game is absolutely doable for the Broncos. They've done crazier things. Just a couple weeks ago, they had a 12-2 game against the University of Utah. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy in itself. Now, Woozy from the sidewall, able to get one to the backboard of Baylor University. Hoxer saving it out and keeping it from the corner. Durtho now full control. Plays it low and tries to get around Zanil. Doesn't happen, but now it's Woozy to try to get something brewing.
Yeah, he gets it over. He got it pushing onto the Baylor side of the field, which is where they need the ball. However, nothing has really been able to be developed outside of that. Hoxer is going to push it up towards the middle. Andy's kind of pressuring out Woozy, but Woozy is the one who gets the boost in the end. Into the goal with a double save from Preston. He is the defensive backbone. You can see why they're going for him so much with the demos, as Hoxer tries again for a flip in, but it's not going to quite get there. Woozy is going to be the one to take it away. Andy once again pushing it right back towards the goal line. Nobody quite there. The teamwork that was presented in the past 2 goals hasn't quite been found. Durtho pushing it into the corner. Nobody there to back him up, as Andy and Zanil are both going to push it out.
Now from the corner, a little bit of off touches. Hoxer wasn't expecting Andy to get that last bit of touch. Durtho now cleaning that one off of the post. Andy playing the low 50, winning that one out, and now has to play around Preston. The one we were just talking about. Amazing saves left and right through him all season. And now a little bit edge down and a fresh mid boost. Could be an opportunity, and he's going to get 50'd by Zanil. That one's going to stay out. Woozy trying to keep the attack brewing. Has to leave it for a potential Durtho who is waiting on the back line.
Yeah, going to push it over both of the attackers. Hoxer is going to stop it. However, Preston with the ball once again. There's Hoxer. Every time I look away, he seems to be in a different spot. Durtho going to be pushing towards the midline. Isn't quite going to stop it, but luckily Woozy is. Preston with a full tank of boost going up for the ball, looking to meet Zanil. Isn't going to do it, but the pressure is on from Durtho. 13 seconds left. A goal pretty much needs to go in now if they hope to take an early lead in the series.
Zanil chasing this one down. He's going to ricochet off of a few players. And now Woozy trying to get an initial touch and a follow. This one is going to touch the ground, and Baylor will walk away with the first game. But that's why we have more than one being played tonight. It is a best of 5 for a reason. Boise State able to bounce back. They now have game 2 to look at, and a very different roster compared to last semester to look at.
Oh, 100%. You said, you were saying it before, the introduction of a new player is both kind of a blessing and a curse for some teams. I mean, you play with players for so long, and then you add someone new, and sometimes that shakeup can be just enough to really shake up the teamwork and the balance of the team. However, sometimes it can happen the opposite way. It can sometimes strengthen the team. Maybe the teamwork wasn't as good with the old player. New player comes in, it gets a little better. However, Boise State has been playing together so long, they kind of know how to play off each other. They know their strengths and weaknesses really well. I think that this was a good game to judge the weaknesses and maybe the strengths and maybe weaknesses of the new Baylor University team. And overall, this is going to be a good shot to bounce back.
Absolutely, but I think for Baylor, it's a lot of strengths and a little bit of weakness. Like I said, they are consistently in the pro scene of RLCS. They are players that if you watch that kind of side of the world, you know who they are, and they are here representing Baylor University very well. But for Boise State, that is not going to shake them at all. They just see them as 3 more players on the pitch to take out of the game and beat. And for them, Game 2 is where it's going to start, where they need to win this one to tie up the series.
Maybe they get one of those kickoff goals again.
Maybe.
Even things up. Ooh, not quite, a little bit of a fake out. It's going
maybe.
to pretty much
Hold
give
on.
it right there, but wow. That actually could have been really bad for the Bears, but they were ready for it from the looks of things. Andy, going up to block, is going to grab it right above the goal line. Andy pushing it over, going to meet Dirtho. He's on a full tank of boost. Andy is kind of starving for boost himself. It's going to be Preston to take it away, passing it over to Dirtho in the midfield. Pushed over to Preston.
Shot!
Hoxer
What a
going to get it
follow!
from the corner, but Zanil, with another save.
A little bit of double commit there on the sidewall. Preston and Dirtho reaching for that one. Preston out of the sidewall now, trying to reach Woozy, but instead Andy's going to cut that one off. This one waterfalling in front of net. Dirtho with an amazing save. Now Woozy trying to chase this one down before Zanil reaches it first.
As Zanil is going to reach it, but Preston is going to be the one to take it away in the end. Going to be met by Hoxer with the ball going towards it, but just a little bit too far to the right to go in. Woozy going to take the ball past the middle. Hoxer is going to meet it in the air. Preston going to meet him, but misses. Just gets ducked, unfortunately, as Dirtho is going to take the ball. Woozy going to be pushing it ahead of Andy. Mid boost is going to be taken by Zanil. Boise State still looking good on boost, still have a lot of resources to work with, and Preston's going to take the ball up to Zanil, going to push it away right to Woozy, and we are just playing corner to corner in this game.
And that's what we want to see out of 2 Titans here in the PEC. Now, midfield pass up to Zanil, followed by out of Andy, is going to be blocked. Woozy now having to chase this one down with a little bit of boost in his tank, trying to look for Preston as a passing outlet. Zanil, with an initial touch, is going to get away from him. Hoxer has to do the follow-up. Preston now able to keep it out of the corner, and he's going to attempt to follow up with a little bit of chain dashing and maybe even a pull shot out of Woozy. They're going to use each other as pinballs as much as needed. Andy now with a great save out into the corner where Preston will follow and try to keep the Broncos onto the attacking half.
Yeah, I will say this game has been a lot lower scoring than the last one. By this point in time in the last game, both teams are tied up 1-1. This time, we are almost 3.5 minutes in, and nobody has put points on the board. It looks like a donut shop in here with 2 zeros, as Andy is going to be the one to take the ball past the midfield. Dirtho, though, looking for a shot. Hoxer is in the goal,
That's
but a pass to Woozy. A demo onto Hoxer, but Zanil is going to be the one to take it away, as Woozy is going to be right back in the game with the ball.
Right back into the game with the ball, an initial touch out of the corner, leaves it for Dirtho. This one just has to be collected and gotten out. It's a good beat about on one, but Zanil able to collect and keep the attack going. Andy not able to reach for that one. Woozy should be able to start something here with most of a tank of boost. He plays the initial 50. That one's going to roll all the way to Dirtho, where, you know, we've seen him time and time again with the ball. He can do anything he wants to it. And now it is his turn with an initial 50 onto Zanil. That's a great beat, and maybe even the start of an opportunity for Boise State here.
That is exactly what they needed, as Andy's going to be the one with the ball this time, pushing it right back over to Boise State's goal. But is anybody there to block it? Yes, Zanil is there, and it's going to get put right in.
Dirtho making the initial challenge. Preston was close post. Woozy tries to jump in last second.
It's not quite there in time, but with 2 minutes remaining, 1 goal separating, there's more than enough time.
Absolutely. Now, Preston with the initial start to the sidewall, looking for a double tap out of the corner, maybe even a triple. No, leaves it for Zanil to collect out of the corner with half take a boost. Dirtho with an initial 50 has to force Hoxer into the air to make an awkward touch. And now Woozy tries to get a touch and maybe even a carry started, but couldn't quite reach it to that one. Hoxer now out of the sidewall, leaves it for Preston, has to reach for it. Now with control into the sidewall, Boise State need to get onto the attacking half with closing in on a minute and a half left, and a great save out of the Broncos. As we keep going, and maybe another open net downfield. Has to race for this one, maybe even pitch down to the mid. No teammates there for the support for Preston. Now control and a shot. Almost a double on. Has to keep this pressure up is Woozy. Maybe even a bounce awkward. No, Andy able to get it out.
Yeah, that demo onto Woozy was just enough to curb the attacking power, but a demo onto Andy might just make the
double tap.
Dresden ties it up. 1 minute to go. Boise State puts himself in a position to take it. 1 goal separates them from taking the round. What a goal out of Preston.
Hawkser in a very unfavorable position in the middle of the net, already pushed out, has to reach backwards to try to save that ball, but Preston with great position is going to leave it. Now, Woozy from the backboard, lots of control. Durtho to his right with support is going to actually leave it for himself. Zanil gets bumped off of that one, and now Andy has to make an initial touch to get that one out of the way. Durtho now trying to keep the pressure on. Preston waiting.
Yeah, Preston going to be the one with the ball this time, pushing it over to the midfield, or pushing it over to the middle of the goal line. However, Andy's going to be the one to take it away. Met up by Durtho. Isn't going to stop it from going into the corner, but he does have a lot of boost to work with, and Boise State is now in control of the ball. Durtho pushing the ball up, going to be met by Hawkser. No real momentum from the ball, but Preston is going to grab it right before it goes in. That is exactly what you want to see out of Boise State at this point in time. 30 seconds remain. Boise State still has enough time to get a goal on the board, but they are still safe as long as they can keep this ball from the goal. It's not going in. Woozy's going to be the one to save it out.
Absolutely phenomenal job out of Woozy, keeping that one away. Preston with the reaction save is going to keep that one out. Durtho able to reach it for 1 touch. Zanil trying to race down with 10 seconds left. Out of the corner is Preston, just trying to get it down to the other end of the field. With a quick carry with 3 seconds left. Maybe to Durtho instead. He's going to take it to the air. All he has to do is solo it out, but no, Zanil will hit the ground, and we have overtime in game 2. Boise State 1 goal away from tying up the series.
Man, I mean, we expected overtime at least at some point in this series, and Durtho has proven why, pushing it right up towards the goal. Going to be met by Andy, pushing it over to the mid or to the corner. Woozy is going to make sure it stays there as it gets pushed out right to Preston. A bump onto Hawkser is going to make it so he can't push any farther, but it also means that ball is staying as a shot from Preston goes through, but Andy's going to be the one to save it out. Durtho, once again, looking for the ball, isn't quite going to find it this time around.
Not quite this time. Andy being forced into an awkward situation. Woozy able to follow up for 2 50s. This one, quick shot onto net, looks for the 50, just looks for the dunk instead. Andy now to the skies. Flipper set in his back arsenal, looking for the shot. No, saved out by Woozy. Durtho should be able to reach back. Have to take a boost. The initial 50 is going to go low. Andy able to follow up, but a dunk out of that is going to turn onto Woozy. To the attacking half, counterattack to the close post. It's going to be saved out by Zanil. Durtho continuing that. Just has to get around the last player, Preston. Not able to reach it in time.
Not able to reach it, just kind of comes in just a few milliseconds behind it, and that was enough to push it away. Andy with a shot towards the goal. It's going straight to Durtho, though, on a full tank of boost, looking to put it right back towards the backboard. Isn't quite on target, but that might just be what they need. It's still on the Baylor side of the field. Woozy going to flip it over. It's the monster! Yes! Woozy with the dunk! Boise State takes it 2-1. We are tied up in the series, folks.
All it takes is a little bit of flair, and Woozy with an initial flip reset and a bump onto Hawkser sit down as Boise State will take game 2, 2-1 in overtime. We have a tied series.
We already see improvement since the last time they played. It was 3-0 the last time these two teams met up. Now it is 1-1. Boise State finding themselves in a decent spot with 2 maps to go until they win.
2 maps to go, already great improvements. You can see how much we were hyping this match up. A 2-1 overtime in game 2. That is the bounce back out of Boise State. You can see how much closer they were holding it. And like I was talking about a little bit earlier, game 1, they were just feeling each other out, feeling how each team would fight against each other. Now in game 2, they knew what they needed to do, and they adapted, and they got the win. Now with momentum in their favor, goes into game 3, looking to take themselves to match point.
Yeah, then the momentum really can't be understated in a game like Rocket League. Once you're feeling yourself, you're really feeling yourself. Keep that momentum going, keep that snowball pushing, get that big snowman made. And, I mean, we don't have very much snow here in Idaho, which is unfortunate, but that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about the snowfall in Idaho, we're talking about Rocket League.
We're talking about Boise State Rocket League,
yes.
And I got to talk about Woozy as well. With that play right at the end, we talked about momentum. That's momentum for him. That is confidence, and that's just everything that he can bring into this third game. Everything about that last play is just a confidence boost for him. Now coming into this, he's going to be playing more efficient, more aggressive, and I bet you even more confident in the air.
Yeah, we saw a lot of aerial play out of both teams, but Boise State seemed to like it just a little bit more. A decent kickoff goes the way of Baylor towards the Boise State lines as Zanil is going to be the one to pressure the ball. Hawk passing it over to Hawkser, pushing it right in front of the goal, and Andy with an early lead, putting Baylor up with an early lead.
Hawkser showing off a little bit of mechanics here. One to the backboard, uses a flipper set to get a second touchdown to Andy. Well-coordinated play, Andy, great positioning. Boise State, though, not out of it quite yet. You saw how much they were fighting last game, and I'm sure they're going to continue it here. Only 9 seconds is nothing. As a demo comes out early, Durtho should be able to reach this one and have the initial contact. Has to play the 50 with Zanil. Shot out of Hawkser, but a pass to Zanil instead is the result of it. Baylor taking a 2-goal lead very early, but once again, plenty of time for Boise State to recover.
I didn't even see Zanil was up there. I thought it hit off the crossbar.
I think it was crossbar down, but regardless, that is just the intuition of these players at this high of a level. Now, Durtho to the ceiling, able to get one, pinch out, maybe even a pass to a teammate. It's going to be met by Preston. Saved out by, I believe, Andy. Now, Hawkser with a Voltica boost, able to get it out to the midfield. Andy putting one on target, looking for Hawkser again for a last-second redirect. Not going to land, and Hawkser able to send it downfield, actually. Andy has to reach for this one, not able to do too much with it before it goes into the hands of Durtho. Out of the corner here, has to play the initial 50 with Zanil and loses it. But a good bump could start something.
Yeah, Preston going to push it up. Hawkser and Durtho both fight for it in the middle. It is going to go no one's real favor. It's going to kind of stay where it's at. Another meet in the middle as Woozy is going to try and take it away. A demo goes onto him, but that ball is on Baylor's side of the field. Hawkser taking it up, going to be met by Durtho right to Zanil on that midline, looking to put it towards the goal, but Preston's going to bump him away. Woozy's going to be the one to take it in the end. Dirt passed over to Durtho, over to the side, but met by Hawkser, and Preston is going to take it away.
Boost is kind of the problem here for Boise State. Woozy able to fill up in time as he reaches for the backboard touches. Has to play around one instead. 50s with Andy. This one going long. Zanil only able to get one touch at the backboard where this one gets pinched down, and Woozy redirect on target is going to be saved by Hawkser, but that doesn't mean that the offense of Boise State is diminished here. Durtho keeping this one going. Preston waiting to see what Andy does with this one and ends up playing the 50 with him in the midfield.
Yeah, and he read that perfectly, just being in the right spot to do that, but Zanil is going to put another one in off of Woozy.
Off the backboard, great control aerially. Now, recovery, not there. 3 minutes and 12 seconds left for Boise State to mount a comeback here, and almost a quick one off the kickoff.
Yeah.
Preston tries to reach for that corner boost, doesn't quite get it before Andy does. Instead, Woozy trying to pre-jump his touches. Just has to try to force him off the ball. Preston with a great initial touch, goes up. No flipper set yet, but instead keeps it out of the corner. Durtho with a follow-up, maybe even a bump onto Hawkser. No, jumps around it. Hawkser now with a lot of time. All Baylor needs to do is play defense.
Yeah, Hawkser once again with the ball, going to make a nice shot, but luckily Durtho is right there, playing where he needs to be on the defensive side. The ball's going to bounce right in, and Preston with the goal, putting a point on the board. Boise State only trailing by 2 now. That is what you want to see out of the Broncos. Durtho tees it up, Preston whacks it home.
Durtho led the way all the way there. Now closing in on 2.5 minutes left. 2 goals needed. If they can keep bringing the synergy that we know and love like that, they can easily tie up the series. Now flipper set for Preston. Maybe looking for the midfield. No, Woozy actually dives in on this one, but still has enough boost. He's able to follow up out of the corner. This one going to Durtho. Lots of time, lots of control. Leaves it for a teammate. Instead, it's going to redirect all the way back to the Boise State half. They need to capitalize here. Preston diving for that save, able to keep it out. Andy not able to do too much onto what Durtho is about to do. Flipper set high, over one, looking for more. Isn't gonna land. Boise State continuing to look for their second goal.
Yeah, Andy was able to take it away, pass it over to Hawkser, who's looking to put it in the goal, but Durtho and Woozy once again sitting in there with the save. Zanil going to take it away this time, test his luck against the Boise State defense, but Woozy is going to take that one right away. Manages to fake out one of the defenders, but Andy is not so easily fooled as he is able to push it right back over. Preston once again with the ball, racing Zanil for it. Zanil is going to get the touch. Takes the control right back over to Baylor, but Woozy's going to try and put it in. Andy with the ball gets the save.
Opportunity there, maybe even a midfield shot. No, Durtho actually diving in on this one, getting it out of the hood of Zanil. Pop over one! Nobody there in support to sink the shot. Woozy no boost in his tank. Andy has to leave it. He also is low on boost here. He just has to play with the 50 with Preston. This one's Zanil's so awkward. And there he goes!
Dirtho with the goal. Puts us into a 1-point game.
You can do so much on a defensive end, but once you get into an awkward position like that Zanil just floating, gets demoed out of the way, leads it for Dirtho. Now a 1-goal game. Once again, Zanil getting demoed. Initial 50 with Preston, and plenty of boost to follow up on that. This one going all the way down. Woozy to the ceiling, though. Dirtho has to wait for this one.
Yeah, Dirtho waiting for it. Unfortunately misses right over the side of the ball, but Preston is going to get the full boost out of it. Manages to flip it over Hoxer. Andy is going to push it away, but it doesn't move towards Boise State's side. No, it moves towards his own. Andy is going to take it right back over. Boise State back on defense, but Woozy's still just playing. Zanil and him meet up, and Preston with the demo onto him is going to make it really easy to push it away, and Preston is going to save the goal. Oh, just barely was able to get there in time, but luckily he was where he was. Zanil gets the bump, and Preston able to put it towards the goal. Andy is able to get there in time.
Able to get there in time, but Dirtho, that's a big boost steal out of him, out of the corner. Hoxer now with a little bit of control, has to play around the next 50. A demo comes out. Preston has to reach for this one, and Woozy, I think, was able to get that corner boost, keeping him at a full tank. Dirtho looking to be in support here, but this one bouncing back out to Woozy. It's going to be floating. Dirtho has to look for a teammate here. Preston able to get a corner boost and control, maybe even one more. Oh! Andy with a great save, but Woozy with a follow-up out of the corner has to keep this pressure going, or else it's going to be null and void. Now out of the corner, bumps coming out. Hoxer with the grid, send it downfield, but Preston has to keep the ball up. 0-second drill now for Boise State.
Oh, and with the ball touching the floor, Boise State unfortunately falls in game 3. Baylor's going to take it, putting them to match point. But Boise State made that an incredibly close game.
It was a immaculate comeback. Definitely a few more opportunities there where they could have tied the game. It was just the defense of Baylor coming out strong. Andy in particular with 4 on the game. He was outstanding this one, putting in 1 goal, 4 saves, and several other accolades. But right now, Baylor looking to close this one out while Boise State continue to fight tooth and nail to keep this one going. I think they're looking for another Game 5 this week.
I honestly believe that you hit that thing right on the head. That is what they're looking for, and I believe that they have the strength to do it. They were able to do it last week, and this week might show them a little bit more favor as we move into map number 4, Boise State, looking to halt the progress of Baylor.
And here's the thing, they've already proved it. They took a game off of Baylor. Overtime win in game 2. That just shows the resilience of Boise State. They have what it takes, and right now, this is where it matters the most. It's these clutch moments, the high-pressure situations, and they are actually used to this so much. They have so much experience on stage in LAN environments with a crowd in front of them cheering them on or booing, regardless. But they know what it's like, and they know how to adapt to it. They can block out the noise, and they can claim wins right here. It's going to be Preston with the initial touch. Dirtho sending this one downfield, a potential open net, but it's Hoxer reaching for it to the last second. Hoxer also just having to dodge out for Dirtho there, looking for a demo on the other end.
Yeah, Woozy going to be the one to take up this ball. Actually bumps out Andy, not giving him a chance to follow up on that ball placement. Dirtho looking to take the ball up, but Andy's going to demo as well. Preston managing to get one back. We are still playing 2-2 as respawns start to come in, but a full tank of boost lost on the side of the Broncos might make it harder to get something a real push started.
Real push started. Andy playing out Dirtho there, has to leave it. A little bit of an awkward position for Woozy. Thankfully, Preston was able to save him there. Andy has to read the bounce here. Very awkward for him until it bounces. Dirtho just trying to dive and cause disturbance there. He's able to get a bump. Woozy trying to keep this one slow for teammate. This one popped into the midfield for Zanil. Has to play the next 50, and a good one out of Woozy will keep the Broncos at 0-0.
Keep the ball rolling. We're still sitting at 0s, very reminiscent of game number 2. Zanil going to push the ball over the goal line, pushing it over to Hoxer. Dirtho's going to meet him, and Preston going to be the one to try and get to the ball. Ball is bouncing off the crossbar. Dirtho with the save. That's not getting through anytime soon. Pass it over to Zanil. Not going to quite get there as Hoxer misses the tap. Dirtho once again with
and
the
a long shot might be in.
Shot in. It goes in. Dirtho puts the first point on the board. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be your unbottled play of the game, presented by local dairy farm families. Perform, refuel, recover, repeat. Visit unbottled.com for more information.
That was That's got to be one of the best defensive showings I've seen out of Boise State. I think they racked up all 5 of their saves in that sequence, all at such low boost, able to get a last-second counter offense and a goal from it, taking the lead from Baylor a minute and a half into this game. Zanil trying to dive in for this one off the backboard is going to be Hawks are now trying to take slow control, but Durtho able to meet it out of the corner. Now is Andy with a shot on! Preston not able to reach it.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, 5 out of 6 shots saved. That's pretty good percentage-wise. The thing is, you do got to get onto offense yourself and start to get those shots out as well. Boise State has just kind of been struggling to get onto the offense. They've done really well at keeping the defense good. They just need to figure out how to push that ball forward. Boost is kind of being starved on the side of Boise State as we start the next kickoff with 3 minutes left on the clock. Ball is bouncing around right in the goal, and Woozy is going to kick it out.
That one really awkward. I was kind of scared there. Preston able to collect really well. Durtho with a pinch 50 downfield. Has to meet it with Andy, keeping this one in the corner, waiting for Woozy. Able to grab that corner boost, and Neal trying to stick with it. Catch good, but a 50 with Hoxer could be even better as Woozy actually stays with the ball. Leaves it for Zanil. Durtho already pre-jumping his touch. Preston, the next man up. Going to roll back into the corner for Woozy where Hoxer awaits. Midfield open. And a missed opportunity for Baylor there, but we will take that any day of the week. Demos flying. Preston has to keep this one close to him before anything happens.
Yeah, lots of demos are flying, but when one demo comes in for one team, another one from the other comes as well. Durtho with the save. Hoxer is not able to put it in. Andy looking to do something very similar, isn't quite going to get it. Hawkster, once again, with the ball, going to be pushed away. Durtho on the offense now. Woozy with the ball as well. Both of them trying to push it up. Durtho presses it back to Preston. Andy with the demo and Woozy from the side. No one's able to put it in from the middle.
If Zanil would have kept his finger on the gas pedal 1 second longer, that could have been an own goal from them and a lead for Boise State. But right now, it's back onto the side of Boise State where Zanil takes this one to the sky where Durtho will attempt to meet him. Preston, the last man back, has to play around 2 players. This one floating. Hawkser to the backboard, looking for the double tap. Is going to go on target, but away. And a demo from the last second is going to keep that ball out of their net. Great job out of Boise State. Once again, defensively showing out 1-1 still here with 1:30 left.
And that is why demos are just so effective. You ruin potential pushes, you ruin potential setups. As Woozy looking to push it up into the corner, Durtho is going to be the one to possess it, but Zanil is going to push it away from the goal. Out in the middle, looking to put it in, going to be met by Preston. Ball still pushing towards Boise State's goal, but isn't going to go in. Preston with looking to pressure the ball, but Durtho is going to be the one to push it away. Hawkser with the ball, Woozy going to save. Preston with the ball once again, pushing it into the middle, over the defender, but Andy is going to be the one to get it with a nice little jump.
What a favorable 50 there. Preston has to dive! Not able to reach it. I saw the vision. It was just an unfortunate miss out of Durtho there in the air. Hawks are able to capitalize now. Baylor with the lead, but still roughly a minute left on the clock. Boise State has been able to mount offenses before. They need one now to tie up the game.
Yeah, they need to get their offense really moving towards them. The offensive pressure out of Baylor has been really reminiscent of what Boise State does to a lot of teams they play against. Just having the just always staying on the offensive side. Durtho with a shot on the goal is going to be met by Zanil in the air, pushing it towards that right-hand side off the floor. And it's not going to be in a good spot to shoot. However, Boise State does not have control of the ball. Hawkser trying to get the ball. Preston with a nice flip over, looking to push it out of the corner, manages to get there. Hawkser with no boost is able to save it with a jump, but Durtho with a shot is going to be met by Zanil. Woozy once again with the ball, and Preston is going to be the one to take this in.
Met by Andy. Now Woozy keeping the ball in field, but no boost to his name. Durtho has to reach this one, falling onto the ground, has to wait for Andy to make the initial touch. Preston now out of the sidewall with an initial 50s, and Neal getting by 2. 1 second on the clock, 0-second drill. Has to keep this ball up, and maybe an opportunity. Woozy sends it downfield to the post. Durtho with the double, and maybe able to follow. Woozy has to keep it up in the air. This one staying up. Preston now into the corner, able to get one. Maybe a pass out mid for a teammate. Durtho has to get one on target, but it's going to hit the ground.
Man, and in a heartbreaker, Baylor is going to take this series 3-1. But what a game! Just banger after banger. I think the biggest point differential we saw was 2 points in Game 3. And overall, what a close game.
great showing out of the Broncos, able to take one off of the infamous Baylor University. But regardless, Baylor moves up to 11-0 now in the PEC. Congratulations to them for the victory tonight. And overall, I mean, great showing out of the Broncos tonight. They were able to put up another game against them, which is considerable compared to the last time they've played.
Very much so. And before we end off tonight, we would like to thank one of our sponsors, Dairy West. Today's stream is brought to you in part by local dairy farmers and the dairy protein they produce. Thanks to them, Boise State Esports has access to next-level fun fueling options that keep our players playing at their peak. Unbottled dairy protein that powers your performance. Visit unbottled.com for more information.
We always like to say thanks to our sponsors. Once again, thank you to Paddles Up Poke for tonight's sponsored home game. We would like to thank them and the crowd tonight for showing up. We love to see you guys come out and support the Broncos. And once again, congratulations to Baylor University for the win tonight as we move on in the PEC.
Yeah, but while that may be the end of the games, it is not the end of our broadcast. We still have a top 5 plays of the game to bring you guys to, and also an exclusive interview after that is all done. So don't walk away just yet, as we still have quite a bit of Rocket League content left to give you guys.
Life happens. Lucky for you, the new ICCU Central Plus checking account comes with benefits, including cell phone protection.
Wait, through my ICCU checking account?
That's right. Along with a whole lot of other benefits you might need. Because being human is a full-time job.
My friends know me as Derek, but I'm also Master Sergeant Raxter. This is my life in the Air National Guard.
Since you guys have been in here, some things have changed. We've updated this place to be in its final form. New cabinets, new counters, all sorts of new stuff in here. This has turned into a place that wouldn't look out of place at an SEC or Big Ten football facility, and Dairy West has allowed us to have it here. We've taken a holistic approach to our player nutrition, and we're really thankful that Dairy West has made sure that our fueling station is the best in college esports and really at industry standard for any college athletic department.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. Is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great. Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
Love Paddles Up Pokey. Thank you.
Shout out Paddles Up Pokey, feed us lunch. Appreciate y'all.
Just finished feeding the football team. Always a pleasure. Go Broncos.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena, where we just got done witnessing the thriller that is Boise State versus Baylor University, where Baylor took that one 3-1. And right now I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the reason why we're all here to begin with, Doc Haskell. Now, after the game, I saw you were able to go up on stage and talk to the players. I mean, what were you saying, and how are they feeling after that?
I mean, they never like a loss, but they're pleased with the improvement in play since last week. They played like we expect them to. Baylor is going to hit a couple of those shots that if we're not exactly in the right position, we're going to struggle with. And they had some really nice individual plays. But the team game, even though the score didn't favor us, I think went to us.
Absolutely. I mean, the only real blowout was in Game 1. I believe it was a 3-1 scoreline there. And everything after that, it was 1 goal. It was really close all the way. Boise State putting up a great fight, similar to how they did last semester. And the only real difference there was Zanil. I'd favor as an upgrade for Baylor, and we were still able to get a game off of them in Game 2 in overtime.
Yeah, Zanil, we've known for a long time, great player, and excited to see him in the PEC. I mean, the higher the talent pool is, the better the PEC looks, and there were a lot of folks, in the chat tonight. We saw Bepic and
really,
yeah, and who else was there? I'm pretty sure Bass was in there as well. I mean, it's good to see the community coming out to watch these games and be part of the fan base. But your point, they're a well-organized team. Adam Stanley, the director at Baylor, knows what talented players look like and collected some. And they came out on top tonight. But we're going to see them quite a bit, and I don't think it's always going to be the Baylor story.
I don't think so either. I think, like you said, as the talent pool grows and as the PEC grows in and of itself, we get more schools, we get more talent. I think it'll just grow to more than just Baylor and Boise State at the top. I think it's going to grow more to just that. And also another story is Vegas coming up at the end of this semester. That's going to be the biggest thing for Boise State. I think for me, at least, Boise State thrives the most in a LAN environment on stage with the crowd in front of their face. And I think for Baylor, who has players with a similar experience, it's going to be the best showing compared to, I mean, tonight we were able to have a live audience as well, featured home game, but I still think that Vegas is going to be the best spot for them.
Oh, you bet. I mean, it's a very different scenario when you're playing and Baylor gave us cams tonight, so we had those on there, and they're in their dorms. They're not in front of an audience. They're they're not. We definitely have the stage experience, and that makes a difference on the biggest stage.
It really does. And I was talking about those cams, I did peek at those throughout the game, and I could see the disappointment in some of those Baylor players' faces as we were able to take goals off of them, and we were able to take that game too. I could see it in their faces how it's not what they were expecting from tonight, and I think that they almost got scared from Boise State. I think that Boise State Broncos put up a great showing tonight and a better image for them going into Vegas. I think that it's going to be a throw-out hand in hand for them, but I think to end this off,
we're probably going to see him twice in 10 days. We're going to be in Hawaii.
That is true.
Hawaii Invitational. We're going to get more looks at him. That's going to be on stage. A little bit different kind of stage there, but we're just going to continue to learn more and more about them. Try to decode them a little bit more. Coach Waiton is phenomenal at putting them in the right position, and I was really pleased. Well, we have what we call the system, and that we're playing to it tonight, and we make a couple more just little individual plays, and it turns out very different.
Well, going forward to end this off, I mean, we are now 3 weeks into the regular season. Nebraska was our little week 0, so 4 weeks, however you want to say it. Now we're looking at the latter half of the season. Syracuse, I believe, is our only other bigger team in the top 4 that we have yet to face. Everyone else is here to compete, absolutely. But I think
I'll accept your description of Syracuse, but I don't know that I agree.
They're in the top 4. They're making moves, but regardless, going throughout the rest of the season, what are your predictions for the Broncos? Do you think they're going to go win? Do you think they're going to win out the rest of the season and go into Vegas strong?
I do. We're definitely, because we'll use the full year. We're in the driver's seat right now to put ourselves on the other side of the bracket from Baylor. And if we win out, that's Kansas, Ohio State, Syracuse, Minnesota. We win those out, we're going to have the tiebreak advantage against Michigan State. That said, we've got to do what's in front of us, get up on the other side of the bracket, and make the next time we play a PEC match against Baylor, we need to make it on stage in Vegas.
And I believe that all the way through. I think that's going to be the result there. But that's going to be it for us.
The screenwriters in Hollywood are already working on this.
Oh, yeah. For sure. All the PEC producers in the back making sure that happens all the way. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for another featured home game here at the Boise State Esports Arena. Boise State taking the loss tonight, but don't be discouraged yet. They still have a lot of season left to go. We will see you next week.